Anyway, you know who's good at things? The Teamsters. Want to know why? Marathon Oil had this golden parachute.
Yep.
And we're sick of hearing about the golden goddamn parachutes. Right, Darren? So they launched a Say on Pay campaign. So that's a very UCOMM-esque. Trust me, they're not our clients. I wish they were. Maybe someday. Encourage shareholders to vote down a retirement package for Gary Heminger that included $6 million in restricted stock. What else, Brian?
So they highlighted that under Heminger, there were a number of issues that included locking out refinery
They locked out
workers.
people in St. Paul Park, Minnesota.
They also had their headquarters collapse, which UCOMM covered last year. And as people were voting,
did someone die?
4 people died.
So this motherfucker killed 4 people. Go ahead.
And as the shareholders were voting, Texas City, Texas issued a shelter-in-place order after one of their refineries began leaking hydrofluoric acid. So they were really taking care of their property.
They received $2 billion in tax benefits from the CARES Act, but recently announced they were laying off 12%. So they get money from Donald Trump, and then they lay off workers.
Yeah. And that money was supposed to be to prevent
layoffs
from getting laid off.
This, all this was too much as shareholders voted down a package for him. 70% of them said, Gary Heminger, go and kill yourself. They literally said that. Yeah. And the shareholders sent an empathetic message to the company's board of directors, stop rewarding executives that are both unwarranted and their performance is out of touch with reality. Teamsters General Secretary said, Marathon investors are not impressed with the golden parachute with a 379 median employee to CEO pay ratio. So good job, Teamsters. That's awesome.
That defeat was the largest ever for an S&P 500.
And I think that all you egomaniacs at the AFL table, invite them to your next council meeting and strategize on how to do this all the freaking time. If we can't win in Congress, if we can't win in state chambers, if we're losing in the organizing drives, at least we can do this. And I know during like 20 years ago, the AFL was really hot on it. And then something happened. I don't know. Putting out memos of how honored you should be to drive around Trumka. You still doing that? Jesus Christ.
I've never seen
Shut up, LaGrange. What else we got from Darren? We got another Darren dump, Jake? Maybe. Hey, Jake. Didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Didn't he threaten my family in one?
Oh, yeah. Let me play.
If the cops didn't hate me, I would report it, but they'd probably give Darren my address. Didn't they do that to some teacher in our neck of the wood? A teacher was critical of the George Floyd deaths, and the cops released his home address in a town where cops tend to live. It was a big nutty mess. They're heroes. You got the other one?
I got Darren.
Okay, here we go.
It's a good one.
This is a good one.
This is egregious, brother, when you act like you're for men who labor, but you're actually a fucking backstabber, bitch. You're nothing to me. Get that through your head. You, your fucking family, are nothing to me, LaGrange. You're a fucking backstabbing whore.
I am a whore. I'll give him that. I'm a whore to organized labor, that's for sure. If you carry a union card, you can be on the left or the right. I'm going to listen to you, and I'm going to respect you. Anyone who's met me personally know that Darren is way off base, but I like the attention.
Yeah, you do.
I like it in person, too. Anyway. All right. So, back to the Teamsters, right?
Yes.
What do we got going on? The national union election for the new general president or head Teamster is happening in this November. This November. And it has major ramifications on the strategy for going after Amazon drivers.
Yeah.
And quite possibly Amazon warehouse.
Yep.
I mean, RW, we love you for trying, but man, you really got your ass kicked. And I heard that the union folks, the young people, the Lewises, had no idea what was going on. You didn't run digital ads? I mean, right? You didn't TikTok the union message? Whatever Bessemer, Alabamans
There were a lot of young workers who just said they voted no because they didn't know anything about a union. They'd never heard of one.
Oh, my God. Sounds like a cop-out.
Alabama.
So what's the deal behind the deal here? There.
Yeah, so with the Teamsters getting a new president for the first time since 1998, James Hoffa is not going to be on the ballot. So there are sort of two big issues that are hanging over the election and that are going to influence the Amazon organizing. So the first is the UPS contract that the members voted down in 2018, but the board overruled them. So a lot of UPS drivers aren't
Repeat
happy.
Repeat that.
So 54% of UPS drivers voted down their contract in 2018, but the Teamsters had a provision that the board could still push the contract through. So they did that.
Repeat that one more time.
54% of the UPS membership voted down their contract in 2018, but there was a provision in, I guess, the Teamsters bylaws that allows the executive board to still approve the contract.
Did you all just freaking hear that? IBEW, CWA, UWA, UAW, NICET, AFT. Did you just hear that? That exists in one of our labor organizations. The Teamsters aren't in the AFL anymore, right?
No.
Remember that. Let it sink in. Silence. You hear it? Let it sink in. All right. So moving on.
So that was pretty controversial. A lot of UPS drivers aren't happy about that. And then on the same side, you have a growing influence from Amazon, which does a lot of the same work UPS does. They do a lot of shipping, and they're sort of pinching UPS's business. So you have two new candidates.
Yeah, O'Brien wants to build alliances with the other unions, which is smart, right?
Yeah.
And have partnerships in the the community to use UPS and DHL drivers to talk to the Amazon drivers, and that's great because you don't have to necessarily be a young know-it-all curly-headed college kid. You work for the AFL-CIO Organizing Institute, and all of a sudden you're a fast-talking union organizer, or you're a good listener. Union organizers are the salt of the earth. They're walking angels on earth. But the best organizers are the workers themselves. So imagine you're an Amazon driver and a DHL guy comes up to you. Hey, my name is Chris. I work at DHL. These are my wages. These are my benefits. These are the grievance procedure. You know you can have the same thing if you join my local. What do you mean your local? My local union. Local 8-something, 9-something. Right here in this community. That is an awesome idea. And it's going to cost the union a lot of money because they got to pull guys off. So,
but even if you think about, like, it's Christmas time, there's a UPS guy on one end of the block and an Amazon guy on the other. And as they're walking by, your UPS guy just says, hey, here's some information about the union.
Yeah.
Let's meet up.
If I roll up on him, it's going to be weird.
Yeah.
Like, okay, is he hired by corporate security to try to bait me?
Yeah.
But if it's a guy in brown and yellow.
Yeah. And he's just saying, hey, what time do you get lunch? Let's go meet up for lunch. Union.
Yes. All right. Now, Verima, am I saying that right?
I think so.
Yeah. He's the other candidate.
Yep.
He's
looking for more of
he's out of Colorado. Probably get some good weed. He signaled a new approach to going after Amazon, saying it'll take more than the Teamsters to organize. We need to build a campaign to engage the entire labor movement. Didn't O'Brien say that?
Yep.
Elect more pro-labor elected officials, pursue a 50-state legislative strategy in Congress. All right, so
he's more sort of that traditional, let's build
I think they
power
both have
the
great
top.
ideas. I wish there was a Teamster listening right now who could chime in on something positive, folks. We already aired your laundry. Let's not do it anymore. Rewind 20 seconds and you can hear what we were talking about. But I think that this sounds excellent. I would love to be a part of this, even if it's just loosely, like me just writing a letter to my congressman, the worst congressman in the history of Congress. Really, like people throw eggs at him. And he walks around with eggs on his face everywhere he goes. Anyway, to have the elected officials engaged in this, to put them on the stand.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, communities where Amazon's the only employer, it's Amazon, Walmart, McDonald's, you kind of elect spineless bastards to your local town council or state chamber,
Well, and look, right, we saw with RW, they had the local congressperson at the warehouse doing rallies with them, talking to the workers. They brought big politicians in from around the country.
Wasn't enough.
Yeah.
I mean, Bernie made it down, AOC, the Joseph John F. Kennedy. John Lewis came down from heaven with Jesus. Just didn't fucking matter.
They had some young black Congress people
Jesus
from around the country come down.
Hey, Jake.
They even had Danny Glover down there.
Danny Glover. No one says union elections like Danny Glover. All right, so keep your eye on that one, folks. It should make national headlines. I really think it should. If it doesn't, you can read it on world famous UCOMM blog, the most read labor news daily news blog in the country. No one gets more traffic than we do. We pride ourselves in that.
And that UPS contract, by the way, is the largest private sector union contract in the country. So
yeah,
it's a big deal.
It is.
And they have a lot of members.
That's right.
Through that.
The Teamsters going one step further here and reuniting families that were broken up by Donald Trump. I wonder how their members feel about that. 40% of them voted for Trump because they wanted to have their coworker's kid taken away from them. A bunch of fucking assholes. Unbelievable.
Well, I think this is a good example of membership pushing their union, because this was directly, they made this decision because of one of their members who so they came out and supported the American Families United Act because one of their members, Jason Rochester, who was a 20-year Teamster member in Georgia, he was married to an undocumented woman. And when Trump got in and he started pushing all the deportation and stuff, she was nervous she was going to get rounded up by ICE and thrown into a detention center. So she took some...
So she turned herself in, thinking she trusted a system that was corrupt morally.
Just remember when they were talking about self-deportation, she thought she could self-deport to Mexico and then file a family or a spousal petition to get back in.
And she's been banned for 10 years because of Donald Trump.
Yep.
They have kids together?
They do. Her 5-year-old son actually was undergoing treatment for kidney cancer, and she filed to try and get a hardship so that she could just come back temporarily to be with him, and they rejected it.
And Beto.
Yeah,
Beto, my boy.
He first introduced the American Families United Act back in 2017.
Jason and Cecilia sought to go through the proper immigration channels years ago to make this right, said Teamsters General President Jimmy Hoffa. But given the pathetic state of the nation's immigration laws, they were left with no good alternatives. Tearing families apart is un-American, but Capitol Hill lawmakers can change it. But will they?
Yeah, and so this bill, if you're a mixed status,
this should break your heart. No matter, even the coldest, hardest bigot. It's a 5-year-old kid who had his mother taken away while going through kidney cancer. If you're smiling about that, I'm going to find you. Oh my God, this breaks your heart.
Yeah. And so this bill would allow mixed status families to stay in the United States while they deal with getting that partner status so that they can legally stay here instead of having them have to go back and then not be able to get back in.